Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably $sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 milli on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
A lot of you question whether or not I'm here for truth. Question if I was a real flat earther or not. Well, the reality of it is there are no flat earthers. There are only globe deniers. Every flat earth evidence really is just a globe phenomenon, explained by the globe. Don't you see that? See, I'm still here for truth. Now there are certain people in my way. What is up, party people? All right, so here's what it is. Today's stream is going to be inspired by a discussion I was having earlier today. Actually, about an hour, 2 hours ago. Basically, what ended up happening was I was having a conversation and debate flat Earth and more. The topic at hand was gravity. I'm not going to go into the whole spiel in the rhetoric of what the people were saying, because it's obviously too much BS for me to spew back out. We'll just say they were invoking God. We'll say they were invoking the fact that you can't see gravity, and a long list of other arguments that are had. I did take a cite to a conversation that was being had in the chat with Gleam. I'm not going to read word for word what we were saying, but in a sense, what Gleam had said, and Gleam, correct me if I am wrong, so I don't discredit you or say something you didn't say. You know how I roll. I don't want to misquote you, but basically was saying that it wasn't gravity, it was atmospheric pressure. We're going to go into these different ideas in terms of how these things work very shortly. But the main thing I want to emphasize in this discussion isn't so much to prove that gravity is a real effect or a real force. I'm sorry. It's more how we know. How we know this is what we understand, basically. What's up, Jose? I see you in the Discord chat. Yes, that is exactly who it was. It was with Right to Hand. I'm being outed, but it was a great conversation. And if you guys know how I debate or argue, yes, I command a way of it happening. So yes, it was fun. Yes, John, you are 100% right. I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'm going to go ahead and hurry up and go over to the Discord. Watch this. I'm going to unmute them now and then head over there. So that way when I unmute, you'll hear them as well. Hello, people. How you guys doing? This is where they all rush over to the screen, to the Discord, because I'm here now. Ha ha ha! I got them off guard.
Ha ha ha! We're here.
What's up, Mantra? How you doing, sir?
My God, it's off.
What's up, Davros? What's up,
Yo, what up?
JG? Yeah, so
What's up?
not much. For those of you who want to join the panel, haven't done it before, down in my description, there's a link down there for a place called the Bunker. That is where we're at. I will get you verified and join the panel. I'm also gonna be starting dividing the globe and then the flat Earth roles, mainly because I am going back into that discussion. So I will make it a little easier for people or any newcomers to come in to know who's who and what's what. But yeah, if you want to join the fucking panel. If you've got something to say. But now that I've done that, how are you guys doing? Everyone safe?
Hey, Barney, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing fine.
All is good, yeah. So
Good
far,
to
so
hear.
good.
Good to hear. GPS, I hope everything's good with you. All right, so gravity. Now, again, I'm not trying to prove gravity. So if anyone comes in with this discussion of C4, if you're in the bunker, you should see me. Let me see. I don't even know if you're...
No, he's not in the bunker. He's in a bunker.
Oh, I get it now.
Shout out to C4, that was good.
Okay, so it's not to prove it to anyone, but to understand how we understand this thing we call gravity. I like to state first, thank you, Barney, because you are one of the pivotal, monumental people, aka my God, that helped me understand these things in a way that I hadn't before. And again,
Hey, just Sean, that's me.
you sound like Crash right now, John.
Okay.
Now, because of this, like I was saying, I thank you, and I thank everyone else that's helped me understand these things, because it definitely has honed my argument. It's definitely made it so I understand how to have an argument. But more importantly, it makes me realize in a conversation when someone is diverting from the obvious. And like Jose was saying in my chat, thought it was funny. Davros was there. Davros has commented out already. If you hear me in debate Flat Earth and more, I will let you guys know it's a different me. I go in there, I smell blood, I taste blood, I want it, and I attack. I do this because of the characters that go there, but at the same time, again, it gives me a really good idea of where an argument could ever come from. I've heard every argument for gravity there is. Nothing works, and getting that through to people at this point is way past where we need to be. But explaining how we understand these things, we could do this every day, and we'll learn something new every day as well. So, again, like I said, if you have a problem with gravity, I really would love to hear why.
I would like to see the actual measurements for relative density.
You
I
mean
wanna see one.
specific?
You have no idea. It wasn't even that today. I mean, sometimes you think you're going to have some kind of an argument, and it becomes a totally different animal. So, Sean, you held your ground. You did. You had so much patience. Even though you were about in that version of losing it, you kept it. You kept it, man.
And here's the crazy part: that spark of almost being triggered had nothing to do with right to hand. It was literally everyone else that kind of just pops in with their own 2 cents out of nowhere. That was what was aggravating me there. But that I do understand it when you get even these panels. It happens. When multiple people want to say something and it all happens at once. Well, I got 7 people here, and it could be hectic here. Well, there it's 49 people. So
Yeah.
it's a
I
different
stood
animal.
by, I listened to that, and that's when I threw in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Had nothing to do with the argument. It was just my opinion of the conversation, and it was fucked.
Yeah, well, that was the issue that I was having, because the one thing I've learned in this community is that when you have an argument or a discussion or a debate with anybody in this community, you have to understand where that person is coming from. Because again, this is, Globe talking to someone that thinks it's flat. I know that no two flat earthers are alike. So there's step one. Where are they coming from? Usually I like to let them start rattling off stuff, their claims, because they always make a claim. But more importantly, I've heard every path a flat earther can go. So when the argument does start and it does start picking up and I start asking questions that I know are relevant I need relevant answers to the situation, and they start diverting, I'm one of those people that does this. Stop. Whoa, stop. Nope. Stop. Everything stops. Every fucking thing stops right now. Let's tackle this question first. Then once it happens 2 or 3 different times where you're having to ask that same question, then I just write you off, and then I'll become a dick to you if you start acting stupid. That's here. That's me. But it's very clear. I make it very clear when I'm having a discussion, especially when other people are listening, that I'm either there and we're going to have a nice, respectful conversation like my friend, me in Montreal here have on a regular basis, or you're going to get triggered, Sean, and I'm going to be an asshole. I'm going to make you my bitch. That's just how I work. And it's just how I roll. Once you start acting like a fool and deceiving, I turn into Sean Hawkins.
But the amount of times you have to say, can you answer that one question, please?
Yep. And those are the type of, okay, so everyone should remember, when I left Flat Earth, one of the first thing, or one of the main things that I went, okay, this is the nail in the coffin. This is something that no Flat Earther has ever answered seriously, and that was explain a lunar eclipse. And once I started realizing an idea, an explanation, its path can go, pew, we're done. No need for that shit. I learned real quick after leaving Flat Earth when a bullshit starts to be bullshit. And it sucks, but I will call you on it. I will call you on it quick. But that was basically the debate Flat Earth and More experience if you encounter me there. But here, we talk like adults. Montreal, I know you have some kind of problem with our force we call gravity.
What makes you say that, Sean?
just intuition, just, a little niche, a little bird in my ear, a big banner stuck across the screen.
Yeah, well, my beef is this. There's definitely something that makes, when we throw something up in the air, it falls back down at a measurable force and all that, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this has been witnessed from the first time man threw a rock up in the air, right?
Yeah.
So then we have this dude come along called Newton and say it was a force, two bodies, like, force attracting, two bodies attracting each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then about 100 years ago, this other dude named Einstein comes along and says, no, it's not that. It's the bending, the fabric of space-time.
He didn't say
So
no.
now,
Hang on. Continue.
we all know the story, right?
Yeah.
So I call bull on both of those things because you cannot demonstrate either one of them.
But, okay, in a sense of demonstration or understanding what's happening, like you said, from the beginning of time, before anybody even conjured up why, we have witnessed things fall. when we're talking the mass attract mass, the Newtonian ideal of it, we got to realize that it wasn't something they went, hey, let's call it this for no reason. It literally was a compilation of experiments and guessing and trying to figure this out, and fails and all these things to come up with the idea that this thing that makes things drop is a force, and we got to call it something. Because kind of like what you were saying, or I'm sorry, kind of like the conversation I was having before with Right the Hand. He's somebody who will sit there and tell you, yes, things fall. Okay, why do things fall? And then he'll tell you God. Well, I know, Montreal. Again, this is not your argument. I know. And at that point, it becomes to me okay, we don't need to now prove either one of our cases, because either one of our cases can't be proved. It's not a provable thing. But you would then go into the ideas of, what if I had no clue of this thing called gravity, and we start taking those steps? At some point, we got to call it something. If we all acknowledge things fall when we let it go, if it's in our hand, then we all are under the same understanding. Things fall. Well, if things fall, what are you going to call it? I mean, you guys can call it gravity. We call it gravity. It's a good word. It's pretty easy to spell. Everyone pretty much remembers it. But it's not a thing. It's a compilation of all these tests and guesswork and understanding and experimenting to test our guesses and et cetera, et cetera. It's not this thing that can be. It's not a unicorn. It's not is it real? Is it not? It's a compilation of observations and effects that happen every day. It's kind of weird to me that gravity is an argument when it should be the components of this thing we call gravity that should be at question.
But we don't question the thing that makes a rock fall. We question, well, I speak for myself. I question the explanation that these two scientists gave. They're both wrong. Now, either we come up with something else, or we call it something else, because it's definitely not what Newton says, and it's definitely not what Einstein says.
But then what would be, or for Newton, what about what he said is wrong?
Newton?
Yeah.
Well, we don't see two objects attracting each other. Never been shown, ever.
Well, what does a Cavendish experiment show?
Don't get me started on that. That's a joke. That's not an experiment.
Well, what is it representing? Something has to be doing it.
A guy a few hundred years ago hung two balls in a shed, and supposedly they attracted each other. I don't buy it.
Well, the best part is he may be full of shit. Whoever told us that guy, he may be full of shit. But luckily, I mean, thousands have done it now. It's so they can't all be full of shit.
Who's done it? I've seen a lot of stuff, and I've even seen one professor who saw the experiment in half. He could never get it to work. That thing, you have to tweak it and balance it. And
yeah. Well,
I know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's a lame.
Well, see, here's the best part about the Cavendish, and I didn't know this until I had seen this video. So there was a girl. She had to be, I think it had to been about high school, and she was going to do the Cavendish. Now, you're right. The Cavendish is a bitch. It's a pain. Like, I've read through setup, and the setup confuses me. So I can only imagine actually doing it. But the better, more importantly is that, yeah, there are a lot of factors that play into the Cavendish and its accuracy. But because of this video, I learned also that, yeah, there are things that it can't be perfect. You're never going to have, especially if it's not in a chamber, it's never going to be perfect. So, but there is this error margin that you can calculate as well. So in that area or margin, you can still see that it's in the vicinity of what Cavendish is supposed to explain. When we're talking mass attract mass, the amount of experiments that we can do to show this, it's yeah, you're right. It's hard to do. It's almost impossible because of the fact of how it works. But I mean, we're a mass. The Earth is a mass, and you jump, you don't keep going. So I mean, that's in my opinion, an observation of mass attracting mass. If I'm trying to figure out different methods of how to figure it out. I know, like Gleam was saying, it's air pressure, and I told Gleam I was going to respond to that, so I want to definitely do that. The biggest problem, Gleam, with it being atmospheric pressure is that atmospheric pressure affects objects in all directions, every direction. Then you said that mass overcomes the pressure, and that's why we're on the ground. Well, if that were the case, then why doesn't the mass and the pressure make you go sideways or up? And again, those are feasible questions, and I'm pretty, and again, and this is why, Gleam, I'm going at it. It's because when I was a flat earther, and I was going through my gravity's bullshit phase, I instantly went to atmospheric pressure. Why? Because there are, like, if we're doing a what could it be, like when the whole thing of it's electromagnetic, the reason why it went so far is because there are a certain amount of tests that you can do, and at certain points, certain ideas of what it is fail, and once those fail, you throw them out. Well, mass attracts mass. This force that Newton explained went further than electromagnetic did. And that's why gravity is explained better that way. Then when we get to general relativity, the idea that it replaced Newton is not correct. It's not correct at all. It literally just further explained beyond our surface of Earth.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, Sean.
One of the main things that means, or the main reason that helped me understand that, it was the realization that regardless of what general relativity represents, general relativity still looks at gravity as a force in its equation to come up with the curvature of space-time.
Yeah.
There's a force that
gravity is.
Go ahead, David.
Gravity is resultant. Yeah, gravity is resultant from the bending of space-time.
Yes.
If you increase the mass, you increase the gravity in space-time. If you decrease the mass, you decrease the gravity in space-time. That's the whole mechanic of it.
Yes. Rather than say mechanic, we're going to use understanding tonight. Because, again, one of the others, not Montreal, I want to make that clear to everyone because he's here and he would be the one arguing with it, but not him. One of the biggest components of right to hands argument, matter of fact, would be the fact that things fall. There's no reason for an explanation for it. Well, it's pretty clear to me that if you want to know anything beyond I wake up, I go, I eat, I shit, I sleep, you gotta test things. You gotta figure things out, not just let it go. You're echoing, Crow. Thank you, sir. And I know, guys, I'm hogging the shit out of the mic. If you guys want to say something, you guys can jump in. I'll shut up. I promise. But yeah,
one small thing, Sean. Not all things fall. Some things go up.
Due to.
Let's make that clear. A helium balloon.
Why do they go up?
He said all things fall, right? And I'm just making a statement. Not all things fall. Some things go up.
But even when
Sean?
What's up, sir?
I'm pretty sure that Dan the Waterman needs a wrench.
I don't know. Dan the Waterman's an asshole.
Yeah, he's been
He
calling
is an
you,
asshole.
a joke and stuff. He's been just saying since he came in, you're a joke and whatever,
Is he being insanely disrespectful?
Just saying off the go, saying like you see why Shunji is a joke, like the first messages pretty much, but he's getting
Yeah, I know, but he
Yeah.
came in, the only person without a wrench. He said, "Yeah, it's a joke, Sean, like you," and he was timed out. He
Oh, okay.
came back and he posted the first like that. That's not insanely offensive. That's disagreeable,
no,
right?
he's trolling, but he's not that bad yet.
Okay. Well,
Barney,
I'll give you a savior wrench so people can talk shit to you. But yeah, Dan, you're an asshole. But you got a wrench now, so be happy.
Barney, it's this is this is one of the many areas where we disagree. We do sometimes disagree playfully, don't we?
Okay, yeah.
Dan the Waterman
He's an asshole.
He's an asshole.
Yes, agreed.
And he's very much like a Pete Shea type character.
Agreed.
No. Dan is worse than Pete Shea. Pete Shea is crazy. And
Yeah,
we know it. Dan the Waterman is a fucking con artist and a liar.
Yeah. Pete
And
Shea's got a reason.
I've also had the pleasure or displeasure of actually watching Dan the Waterman on the television. And he's a fucking arsehole.
Oh,
so
I'll tell you right now for a fact, Dan the Waterman is not a flat earther. Dan the Waterman
is a troll.
COVID-19.
I didn't know that weed was called COVID-19.
Oh, I don't have COVID-19. I'm high as fuck.
That's what I mean.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Dan the Waterman is not a flat earther. Dan the Waterman is not a Poe. He is a scam artist. How do I know this? Because in a hangout, I could probably find it if I gave a fuck enough. Matter of fact, I think I already played it in an upload when I was bashing him. He's only here to promote himself. He wants to be a TV star. He's come to at least 10 people that I know of that have live streams, and he's gone to all of them. It promoted a show that he wants to try to get picked up by TV producers. He's a scam artist. He's using Flat Earth. He's already said it. I have it on recording.
Yep. Agreed. I just dislike the notion of a person coming in, putting one message in, and getting banned, and then getting timed out, right? And then after their timeout comes,
what about Chris?
Because
what about Chris Berry?
Because that's what assholes do, right? Just bashing somebody with your wrench, like fuck off.
Yeah,
I don't.
If anything,
let him earn it, right?
Barney, just to tell you, the only time prior to right now, this is the second time I've ever used my my wrench. The first time I did it was on Jose's channel when some guy came on and typed nigger in the chat.
Yeah, but that's
and I reflexively timed him out.
Yeah, and I would too. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
What has Dan done right now that is comparable to that?
Well, it's not what he is. Well, it's partly to do with what he has said right now, and it's mostly to do with what I know about him and what I've been on Hangouts with him, and he's an arsehole. I told him.
Well, I just want to say really quick.
This is what Barney I think is trying to say. If Dan's gonna be here and I'm not gonna kick him, boot him, ban him from my channel, give him a wrench, or ban him.
Yes. Hey, John, I think you're gonna.
If he does something that's bannable, ban him, kick him out, forbid him from participating at all. But don't just toss him around and kick him just because he doesn't have a wrench. Because none of the things that he has said that he has been timed out for in today's streams are any worse than what other people are saying in the live chat right now.
I agree. I can agree with that.
Hey, Sean, I think you're gonna agree with me. John, I'm speaking from Sean G and myself. don't you dare saying the N word again. It sounds so offensive coming from you. Just the accent, just for being
Yeah.
a foreigner.
It felt like you
It's
meant it, but I know you didn't. But
yeah,
it felt like you did. I know you
you
didn't,
just
Yeah,
butchered
but I
it. Just
felt it.
sounded so wrong because you just say it wrong.
I'd rather you say
yeah.
I'd rather you say the N word, even though that's like really bad because it's like you might as well have just said it anyway.
Yeah, like
But if you're gonna butcher it in like the accent wise, don't even say it, man.
yeah. I totally, I hear you. I hear you. I find I find it really offensive, and I probably shouldn't have just said it. It's a word that
You
needs to
said it
be
like
just
it just came out of no. It's just like it was like
well,
I know you didn't mean it, but it felt like it started in the gut and it came out and
It's that
roared like a
well,
I
it's
lion.
couldn't
like
stop halfway.
it's like a. I
it's
mean,
that British
you
accent.
know how
Yeah,
it is.
exactly. British.
Scottish are fucking really good at swearing, and
Hey Barney,
it
it's
sounds
it's
venomous.
because he's British and he's a
But
flat earther.
British, did you?
A
Fuck's sake!
bloody pom.
Just fucking fuck me. Anyway, but no, but I understand what you're saying, and that was kind of my point. It's so abhorrent to me when people use language like that, and I shouldn't have re-said it. I get that, but
But you know we're messing with you, John. I mean, it was just a joke.
yeah, no, but
But still, don't you dare
yeah,
say it again.
but yeah, I can't stand that shit. I fucking can't stand it. Um, just to give you an indication of like the only other
Mm-hmm.
time
Yep.
ever that I've ever used my
Mm-hmm.
wrench
Mm-hmm.
is that time.
Ah, okay, okay. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, getting back to the gravity of the
For
situation.
real, damn. You done, John?
I don't know. I think so. I think so.
You sure?
Just
Because
shake it out.
Shake it out.
because we could stop everything so you can monologue and
Well, whose
monologue
channel
more.
is it?
It's
It's
yours,
fucking
John.
mine.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
John.
that's right.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Davros seems to think it's his, so that's up to you. That's you guys gotta talk that shit out. But
Oh,
for now,
set
how
fire
about
to his
this?
country
Can
again
we
if he's not
can
fucking
we
careful.
stir our way back to the gravity of things?
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, I forgot what I was saying. Thanks, John. What the hell what monologue was I talking?
Well, things do go up.
Oh,
Get your shit
They
together, Sean. I
stop.
mean, fucking come on.
well, it's John.
But they
It's your
stop.
fault. Hang on. Now we got to stop again because John spoke up again. Now, John, I know what you're thinking. It's not my fault. Barney's the one who said something. You're right. Barney said something. Something was done. And then for the past 20 minutes, you've kind of Johnologued the rest.
Hey, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. I just made it up. Just came up. Just bam. But again, well, John, since it's your show, you are the producer. Can we move back to gravity?
Yeah, okay.
Cool. Thank you. All right. So things go okay. Back to okay. Remember now. Thank you, Davros. Okay, so even in I think you'd be talking about the buoyant force, but and again, this ran through my mind just a few months ago, and I thought it was a great explanation for gravity. Even though we have even though the buoyant force allows helium and other items to other lighter, I guess what would you say? I don't even know how to phrase that sentence. Things go up, but they go up at a rate. They don't just instantly just gain speed. There's a force that still acts upon the balloon that helium's in. There's still a force that acts upon any other force. The buoyant force of any of them needs gravity. Why? Because what force acts upon against the buoyant force? I mean, I just
What's causing it to go up? What's actually causing it to go up is the fact that all the other heavier things are being pushed down. That's the simplest explanation.
Yeah, what's that one game where you put the marbles in the thing and then they just drop down and they tick, 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 and they go. It's like that. Yeah, there you go. It's like that.
How about we just explain what we see?
Okay.
Lighter things than air go up, and heavier things than air go down.
Then why do those lighter things stop at a particular height?
I don't know. Why do they stop? Wait. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like
so when they get to a particular level, they stop for a reason.
Equilibrium.
Yeah, they
Actually,
reach
no.
the level where they're supposed to be at.
Actually, no. Actually, no.
Well,
A lot of the time, they pop before they get there.
You're talking about the balloon in particular, or I thought you were talking about the gas, the helium.
Well, the balloon's the only way we could be able to see it. It's like our it's like throwing baby powder into the wind.
Yeah, it's like our observation is the balloon, but most of the time the balloons pop before they get to that equilibrium state.
Yeah, they pop at around 120,000 feet, I believe.
Do they?
I think so. That sounds about right.
Those big ones, yeah.
But what's their equilibrium height then?
I guess it would matter to the material, wouldn't it?
If you take a regular party balloon with helium in it, it still goes up, but it only goes a certain height before it explodes.
Yeah, but is that effect of the balloon, or is that...
Yeah, that's effect of the pressure inside the balloon against the pressure outside of the balloon, which is being caused by gravity.
Okay, I see. So there's more pressure forcing out than there is pressing against it. Once you get to a certain state. Okay.
I think it's different.
And where's this going?
There's also a temperature. There's also a temperature thing as well.
No, I don't think it have something to do with the pressure, because the material of the balloon is very strong, because a huge difference pressure between inside and outside.
Yeah, pressure makes things go boom.
Yeah, but if you use like a regular balloon that you got at the circus or something, it would blow up way before that 100,000 foot mark. It's the material that makes the altitude, or maximizes the altitude.
It's not only the material; it is also the setup. It is how much of attention you start off with, right? At ground level, you have 14 psi outside the balloon and 14 psi inside the balloon, and the elasticity of the balloon maintaining that balance, right? As you go up, the outside pressure goes away, the balloon gets stretched more and more. But you can start off, as they do with the meteorological balloons, by having a large empty sac with just a little bit of helium in there that then spreads out and fills the balloon until it becomes a ball, right? But it never gets to that level of tension of blowing up. And that's how those satelloons that can stay up there for days and weeks.
It's literally the exact the exact opposite effect of when you go deeper into the ocean.
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting better.
You must have all seen these high altitude balloons when at sea level or ground level. When they inflate them, they're not spherical balloons. They put a calculated amount of light gas in them, and they're barely inflated. And because of the decrease in atmospheric pressure, they become super inflated as the pressure around them decreases.
Barney, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have a 2-liter water bottle. It's empty. I'm at sea level. I drive 6,000 feet, and obviously, I'm watching. If you watch it, you're going to see it expanding, and then if the cap's crap, it's going to blow off. What happens if I put helium in that bottle and did the same drive?
Same thing.
So it's 100% the pressure,
As you
not the gas
go
that's
up,
doing it.
as you go up, it'll so if there's helium in, I'm going to answer this. If there's helium in that bottle should float up, right? As you go
No.
up in altitude, that bottle should start to come down.
Wait, if there's helium in that bottle should float up? No, it shouldn't.
Well, the bottle's not going to. The bottle's too heavy.
Yes.
There's not enough space to get enough helium in that small bottle.
Or you can put a shitload of helium in there, but the more helium you add, it'll just be heavier and heavier.
Yeah, maybe that too. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I think we need the space, right? The expansion of the space to make the effect, right, Barney?
Another thing, an opposite thing you could say, if you go to the top of a high mountain and you take the top off an empty bottle, you screw the top back on, and then you descend back down to sea level, and you still have that fixed volume in the bottle, it will deform and squash because you've got such low air pressure in the bottle. When you put the top on, when you get back down to sea level, it will squash.
It'll get crushed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just said that, or we were just talking about this conversation, and I just realized, Gleam, it cannot be atmospheric pressure, because if it was atmospheric pressure, every time people got in a plane, or not a jetliner, like a biplane, or like a regular jet plane or something like that, or diving, the effects would be so extreme we wouldn't be able to handle it. Our bodies would implode, right? No, it would explode if we gain that much altitude. Our bodies don't do that, do they?
I'm not following your logic.
Okay, so if I'm standing at sea level, I got 14.7 psi acting around me in all directions. If I have that bottle in my hand, does my body do the same thing? Obviously not the same level or the same scale, but does my body expand and contract the same way that bottle does?
No, that's not a good comparison, actually.
No. I'm asking. That's why I'm asking. Is it something you can compare like that?
Until it boils, because most of your body is water. Boils.
Yeah. Well, if I can answer that, I mean, I used to be a diver. It's the only thing within reason, apart from like extreme depths, and you're the only thing that's really affected is the air spaces in your body.
Yeah.
So your lungs and your sinuses and your ears. Apart from that,
it can crush your lungs, can blow out your eardrums, being too deep, right?
Unless you equalize the pressure, yes.
Well, I'm saying no gear. If I just got in the ocean and went down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench, I know it's not possible, but basically it's going to crush me to death.
Well, you can go to with like as a diver, you can go to about maximum about 300 meters. Without as a person actually feeling the water pressure.
Okay.
Then other things start to come into play.
Okay.
But you can actually withstand it.
But well, until shit explodes. But okay, so in that sense, okay, now that I've gotten that, so if I without gear, and it being possible, I start going towards space, and I get 300 meters, whatever. If I enter space, I know I'll boil. I know all that stuff. I know the vacuums. I know how that works. I get that. But will my body, without any gear, is it going to explode? Will it? The pressure?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
Because I'm not sealed.
Because
it's only
the pressure differential is not that much because the air is not that heavy.
Okay, I see.
the difference. The
air
difference
is
in
not that-
pressure. The difference in pressure is only you can have this of the opposite effect of increased pressure just by going 10 meters underwater. You get you know what I mean, like you get twice, you get two bar of pressure, twice atmospheric pressure at 10 meters under the water.
Yeah, well,
And
I was trying to
anyone
figure
can
out,
do that.
I was trying to figure out if that happens to our bodies as we gain altitude too, because I know the main reason we can't skydive from 70,000 feet is because there's no oxygen and it's freezing. But is there ever a situation like just like you go too deep, the pressure? If there's not enough pressure, I don't know. That's why I was just asking.
No, but I mean, it's one of the huge misconceptions about like being in low Earth orbit and whatever. Like, there's this like catastrophic vacuum. I mean, it is pretty much a vacuum in low Earth orbit, but it's only a difference of 14 psi. I mean, they do occasionally get holes in the space station, for example.
Yeah.
And they can literally fix it with duct tape.
Yeah. Well, you can fix anything with duct tape. Broken leg, duct tape it.
Well, yeah. I mean, if the world split in half, you could probably fix it with duct tape. But,
absolutely.
But it's such a small. I mean, you've got twice the that pressure in a car tire. For example,
I have something I'd like to say about space.
Yeah, what's up?
Pressure. Yeah. You were talking about taking a bottle up and see what's going to happen, and then climb down to happen. So when you take a bottle up, pressure inside the bottle increases comparing up the hill. But when you're up the hill and go down, the pressure inside is less.
So the outside pressure is able to push on it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it doesn't tear apart when you go up close. So that's the difference. The ISS, why it cannot collapse.
Oh,
So
okay. Go ahead, Barney.
You're not
withstand stretching, but
you're not all the way off, right? If you're trying to compare going to immense depths and getting crushed completely, yeah, that thing you cannot get the other way around. Okay. But if you're talking about something like the bends, right, where gas dissolves in your blood, and then when you go back up, it suddenly expands into gas again, and right,
okay,
that's there is an equivalent of that when you're going up to higher altitude, which is called altitude sickness.
Yes. Okay. And that's the lack of oxygen in the blood. Boom.
Yes.
Got it.
You know, an interesting thing that happens to deep sea divers. This is quite hard to explain, but we're going to try and just say it briefly. But because of the increased pressure, you end up supplying deep sea divers with such a different concentration of oxygen that the body gets used to not actually needing to have so much hemoglobin. So when they're brought back to sea level, they actually experience basically altitude sickness. So they don't their bodies got used to not having to have so much hemoglobin, and it is basically the same effect as you would experience if you went up to 20,000 feet up to Mount Everest base camp or something. And the
John,
guys
John, I just like the way you say hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin. But yeah, it's a bizarre thing. We don't these changes in pressure and what the effect that they have on the human body. It's quite fascinating. It's well known. But yeah,
So,
it's a really strange thing. You see guys coming back out of from 2 weeks deep sea, and they look like shit. They're white, and
You
yeah,
get
they're
muscle fatigue, don't you?
really ill.
Or muscle loss, or not muscle
n-
fatigue, muscle deterioration.
Well, not muscle fatigue, but you get there is a problem with what's it called, osteoporosis. Um, but yeah, I mean the guys that come out of deep sea, they look like shit. They really do. Takes quite a few days for them to kind of get back to
It's
back to normal.
It's like their sea legs, or the opposite of sea legs.
Yeah, but it is literally because their body has got used to just not having to produce as much hemoglobin because they've got such a high concentration of oxygen in the gas that they've been breathing, and it's kind of like the reverse of altitude sickness.
Is that pure? I don't know if this is a stupid question. Is that pure oxygen that divers breathe?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, because
no,
you get like high when you do that, don't you? Like a euphoric feeling and shit.
Oh no, I'll kill you. I mean, if you breathe normal air at a depth of about 60 or 70 meters, the concentration of oxygen in normal air becomes toxic. So you have to actually decrease the amount of oxygen in the mixture that you're breathing, which sounds odd. But if you think about, say you've got like normal air, you've got like 80-20, 20% oxygen. But if you increase the pressure twice, you could actually deliver just 10% oxygen because you're getting the same number of oxygen molecules at twice the pressure that you would with sea level pressure.
Then what else is in
This
there?
is probably a bit of a head fuck.
Well, it is. But what do they mix it with?
Well, with deep sea, it's helium.
Wait,
it's
what?
It's called yeah, it was heliox. I mean, the big problem with diving is that nitrogen is it's that's what causes the bends. It's a really kind of, for the human body and diving, it's a really useless gas. That's what goes into solution in your blood, and then when you decompress, it forms bubbles. That's what the bends is. But helium is it's a really, it's an inert gas that doesn't tend to cause any problems like that.
So
And then
so
would
it's
sound funny.
so after after you guys dived, you guys all sound like fucking Mickey Mouse and shit.
Oh, deep sea, yeah, it's hilarious for the first sort of 5 minutes. It really is, and then you kind of get used to it, and it just sounds normal. But it's really funny. It's like I sometimes get a phone call from a diver who's in a pressurized habitat on helium, and it's fucking hilarious. And he's just like, yeah, it's really funny. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Stop laughing. Can we actually have a conversation?
I wouldn't be able to have a conversation with someone doing that.
But yeah, so it's the deep sea. It's a completely synthetic gas, heliox, with no nitrogen in order to prevent the bends happening. And they're kept at constant pressure. So that's the danger when you go up and down. So they're pressurized to the pressure that they are going to experience
like
on the seabed.
Like when you get in a plane and they pressurize it.
Yeah, and they're kept at that seabed pressure for the whole 2-3 weeks or whatever. So they're pressurized once and they're depressurized once. And I mean, it's a really safe way to do things, and unless things go really badly wrong and then everyone dies.
Way to be positive, John.
Well, being positive as a diver, being positive and thinking nothing's going to go wrong is the kind of attitude that's going to kill you. In my experience.
Well, when you put it like that, John. Fuck.
Anyway, yeah, I've done a journalog here for far too long.
And that is exactly what it was. Don't worry, it's okay. I enjoy your journalogs.
If you're not careful how deep you go, the thing that you need most is oxygen. But if you go deep enough, oxygen becomes toxic to you.
It's a strange thing. Yeah, normal air. If you go about 70 meters deep, that's about the cutoff. Oxygen, the concentration that you have in normal air, it'll kill you.
In three different ways.
But wait. You said some divers can dive without gear down to 300 meters.
Yes, but that's without gear. That's because they're not taking in anything extra. Literally, what they have in their lungs and in their blood is going down there, getting crushed and getting expanded back to normal on the way up.
What I meant when I said that was deep sea divers on a mixture of heliox. The maximum that the human body can sort of withstand, with all the gear, but being fully exposed to the outside pressure, is about 300 meters. But I wasn't talking about like free diving.
Oh,
I'm not sure what the record for that is.
It's thereabouts.
But I mean the maximum depth that you can. That's really pushing it. 300 meters. That's fucking.
It says for consistent weight free diving. Oh wait, no, that wasn't it.
It's 130 meters.
129, Barney.
Yeah.
And that's from
the
Chrysler diving.
145.
And that's when that depth is kind of. I mean, you could feasibly go further than that, but that's
145.
No. 214 meters. He says,
holy shit.
Let's find more.
Herbert,
but it depends.
Something.
702 feet.
It depends. It depends how. It depends how quickly you can get that deep and get back with free diving. but there are there are physiological things that happen to the body if you try and do it that quickly. But yeah, as I say, just if if you're actually trying to get a team of guys to actually work at depth, 300 meters, I think is, and that's really kicking the arse out of it.
You've
200
stopped reading.
meters.
You've stopped reading too soon, Sean. He surpassed his own no limits depth
253
at 253 meters, suffering injury in the process.
Yeah. I was just I went, oh shit. I reread it because I was like, I'm not sure if I read it correctly.
So 250 meters.
That's a long way down. Luke.
Yeah.
Do they have kind of glasses? Because I think my eyeballs would implode at that depth.
No, it's just it's just the air spaces, your lungs, your sinuses,
wait. Aren't your
and your
eyes
ears.
Aren't
No,
your eyes are open? It's not a sealed system.
no, but they're not.
But there is no air pressure behind them. Well, there is there's tear ducts behind them which are connected to the sinuses. But when you dive that deep, you need to equalize the pressure, meaning you have to open up your throat and your sinuses and your ears to the water so that the pressure equalizes throughout your head.
Yeah, I mean your eyes aren't full of gas. Your eyes are.
Yeah, sorry.
No, but
So,
the sinuses are, and the tear ducts will be going directly through. So yes, you can get your eyes to pop out if you don't close your eyes or if you don't equalize the pressure.
yeah.
Just think, there are people in this world that don't even walk that far.
When it goes wrong, it's really bad. I had where was it, off the Isle of Skye on the west coast of Scotland. I had something called a reverse block, which is where you go down to depth, but when you come back up and the air is expanding in your sinuses and in your ears, there's a blockage, and the air is expanding inside your head and it can't get out, and the pain was outrageous. It was the kind of pain that it's the only thing that you're conscious of, and you just completely lose all sensory perception of anything else apart from the pain. And it's an extremely dangerous thing to happen. But I managed to get on top of it, and obviously I didn't die. But it was really, really bad. It was fucking agony. Air expanding inside your head that can't get out. Fuck. Yeah. He laughs. That yeah, I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Is this just going to be one? Is this just going to be one big fucking monologue or what?
It seems like it because we were talking about gravity, and every time you talk, we go away from that topic. What you trying to hide there, John? Is it your flat Earth ways?
I'm just a bit. I'm just a bit ashamed to admit that it's not.
There we
it's
go.
not actually a force. It's not.
What? Excuse me?
I just
Oh,
feel
it's a force.
bit inadequate.
It's definitely a force.
Well, the thing is, that, Sean, that it's not actually a force.
No, it's a force. Okay, John, how about this? I ask you to pick up. You got anything in your vicinity you can pick up?
Well, at the moment, I'm floating in space, but I can imagine. I will do a thought experiment as if I was able to pick something up. Okay.
It's as much a force as inertial forces are forces.
If we're talking about it being a force, it's a force. Damn, John just left. Barney, you scared him. But how about why isn't even again, like I was saying this earlier, and Barney, correct me if I'm wrong, general relativity looks at gravity as a force in some aspects of it, right? It has to use gravity as a force.
In the same way that Newtonian physics looks at inertial forces as forces in some instances. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
When you are on a roundabout, you feel the centrifugal force throwing you outside. You feel it, you can measure it, right?
Yep.
But it's not a force. It's just inertia. That's what an inertial force is. It is just your inertia, but if you measure in a spinning or an accelerating frame of reference, you will measure a force because everything, your entire world, your metric is accelerating. Gravity is like that. If you measure it from the surface of the Earth, by assuming that the surface of the Earth is standing still and is your 0-point frame of reference, then you can measure that imaginary force. Right?
Well,
It is a force in that special in that special frame of reference, but that's because that's an accelerated frame of reference, a non-inertial frame of reference.
Yeah, but Barney, in Einsteinian gravity, it's not a force. It's
yes, that's what I just said.
Space-time. So that's not a force. That's something falling into a well, a curvature in the fabric of space and time. If one can imagine such a thing anyway.
So obviously no one heard my explanation from an hour ago.
Well, I was just going to say, what creates that curvature? What creates that bend in space time, though?
Mass, according to the fantasy.
And what effect happens when that space-time is curved? What's the effect?
That in the future, things of mass will be closer to each other.
Everybody laugh together now. Come on.
No.
You guys know it's a
quite
pile
literally.
Of rubbish, right? You know it's a pile of rubbish, right?
But what aspect of what aspect is the pile of rubbish? Like there has to be something.
The whole thing, bro.
But okay,
the whole Einsteinian thing is a pile of rubbish. Come on.
How?
You just heard the explanation.
You know the thing that the disconnect.
Hang on, John, because Montreal was talking, and if we let you talk, who knows when we'll be able to talk.
Who knows when I'll stop? Yeah.
Shut up, John.
So go ahead, Montreal.
No, I'm done. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. What John was saying before about pressure and all that, it made sense. He knew what he was talking about. Go down, you get the bends, all that. Nobody said a word, right? It makes perfect sense.
Okay, but
we can all test it. We could all see it. Now, what we all laughed at before, Einsteinian gravity, that's nonsense.
Okay.
Montreal, how is it?
I appreciate that it humors you and it makes you laugh. Unfortunately, that's the only coherent explanation that we have. It's the only one that actually holds up.
Doesn't hold nothing.
You see, the thing is, Montreal,
for force that's caused by an imaginary thing that's caused by another imaginary thing.
The thing is, Montreal,
that says nothing about, like, I'm sorry about this, but that literally says nothing about Einsteinian gravity. That just informs us of your ignorance, right? that statement literally means I don't know what it is, therefore I refuse it.
No,
Can I?
no, I'm going to
Can
show
I
you
just
of your
say?
ignorance, Barney.
Can I just say,
You
Montreal?
believe, hold on, please, John.
Yep.
You believe that a mass bends something called the fabric of space-time, and this causes this thing called gravity, which is not a force, but you can think of it as a force. And you're telling me that I'm ignorant, Barney. Come on, man. Seriously.
Yes. Quite literally
Montreal,
so, yes.
Montreal. When Einstein published his, was it 1915? He published general relativity. The concept of it was so strange that it wasn't actually taken seriously by mainstream science for quite a few years, until people actually devised ways of actually testing whether or not it was true. And since then, for 100 years, the Einstein's theory has been, tested to destruction again and again and again and again and again, and it doesn't fail. It has shown itself to be a very, very accurate description of gravity, in loads of different ways, and it keeps on showing itself to be an accurate description. And it's not. I mean, of course, it's not something you experience in everyday life. That's why we draw the distinction between Einsteinian gravity and Newtonian gravity, because we can just use Newtonian gravity because it works very well. But Einsteinian gravity, and it's got a lot to do with astronomy and cosmology, but it has shown itself again and again and again and again to be very, very accurate description of gravity, and that's
I have
undeniable.
a question, and Barney probably will be able to answer this because he's God, obviously.
I've completely forgotten what we were talking about.
Yeah, because John talks. Okay, so gravity. If we were looking at a comparison, Newtonian to general relativity would be like algebra to geometry, not literally the expansion of knowledge and techniques and blah blah blahs and all that stuff, but the progression to it. It's both math. Just one explains how to do something a lot more.
Can I just say the way that I think of it,
John?
Oh no!
Yeah, just let me
No,
very briefly.
John, no, because I was asking
Very
Barney a
briefly.
question. He started to answer it, and then now you're going to monologue. Johnalog.
Well, he just went. He just went. Well,
because he said, and then you jumped in.
I could have finished my point, Bunny.
I know, but then Barney could have finished his point as well.
If
and
you've
you're
got
kind of just jumping in and cutting him off.
Whose channel?
He was beginning to start it.
Right,
at the moment, it's Barney's.
Just
at the moment, no.
So if I think you're getting above your station, Sean.
John, don't make me do this, John. John,
don't make me.
He made me do it. John, just give 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes.
What was the question?
I forgot what the question was.
Einstein.
It's about to get worse. It's about to get worse because I forgot what I asked.
Oh, is it like... No,
okay, let me give an introduction, please. I'd like to say something about
algebra geometry.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Barney.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
Crow was about to interrupt and go on a monologue. Go ahead, Crow.
I have another example to ask Sean's question, so I'm asking your same question in a different way. Is it okay, Sean?
If it's a better way of asking my question to Barney, I would say go ahead. but please be
Well,
that because John's wore thin. John made everything bad.
well, hold on. I think what I had in mind was an answer to your question, so better listen to Barney. Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Barney.
He doesn't know what he's
All right. What I was going
I
to
am
say,
seriously going to piss myself laughing.
if you have a car and you're testing it, and for every half an inch you press on the gasoline, the speed increased by say 20 miles per hour. So now you know the equation. Every half an inch increase your speed by 20 miles per hour. But at a certain point, the air drag will interfere and these calculations cannot use. So that's the calculations of Newton and the calculations.
Yeah. Whatever he said.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about for you.
Well, I think we were talking about the relationship between Einstein and Newton, but
Something like that. So the interesting thing is that when we say that we have an explanation for something, that's scientism. And then when we say we don't have an explanation for something, that's an issue as well. So we know that the Earth is a sphere, that's a problem. But we don't know what causes gravity, that's a problem.
That's the big thing. The second someone asks you where does it come from, make it clear. No one knows the source. It's not even up for discussion.
We've continually
For now.
said that.
For
Why
now.
I don't understand, yeah.
Yeah,
right
for
now, we don't have a grand unified theory, or we don't.
No, soon we will find the graviton. Just so you guys know.
Or whatever it is, it may not be the graviton.
Oh, it will be.
That may be
It almost certainly is not the graviton.
Whoa, Barney? Prove to me it's not the graviton.
Good grief.
Go.
Oh God.
I cannot prove it to you. I can just tell you that
See?
all of.
I just want everyone to know when you challenge your gods, you can win.
Golly.
The reason why the word graviton exists and why the concept of graviton exists are hypotheses which include gravitons, and those have largely been disproven.
Whoa!
So
you can, Barney, show me proof a graviton isn't real.
I cannot show you proof that a graviton isn't real. I can show you proof. I can show you proofs that theories which include graviton have been disproven as explanations of physical reality.
Okay,
that
so
they cannot be correct.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the way science has, or way science understands a way for a graviton to work has not been correct, is what you're saying. Have they exhausted every possibility of the graviton yet?
No, of course not.
So then they have not. So then Barney, they have not. Hang on, they have not proven that gravitons do not exist.
Yes.
Yeah, but what are you calling a graviton? Like, what would that be?
Oh, graviton is a source for gravity. It is the push and the pull.
However, graviton is a word which identifies this thing in some hypotheses and theories. Those hypotheses and theories were disproven. The fact that we still have the word when that thing has been disproven, the thing that the word signifies has been disproven, means that the word should never identified anything, really.
Okay.
Right?
Now, no, wait.
So, wait.
I asked you a simple question, though, Barney. In your flat earthing.
Yes.
I asked you, can you prove a graviton doesn't exist? You
No,
said no. You said you can't. Yeah, you can't.
Yes.
Now you're sitting here saying that they have sufficiently proven that the graviton is not real and the name should not exist.
No, that's not what I said, and you have not been paying attention and listening.
Okay, I will listen.
Well, can I say this? If a graviton is what causes gravity, and we look at gravity in the aspect of cause and effect, then the thing affected would be space time. What's causing space mass of an object. So a graviton would have to be what, space time then?
No. It'd be the source for which gravity what do you call that word?
That would be space time. That's the thing being affected.
I swear this is some kind of a long joke. Every time Sean asks me a question, another person just comes out and starts talking.
It was starting to be entertaining. I started to adapt to it.
It is 4 a.m. for me, and my head is starting to hurt, and this is going nowhere. So I'm gonna bid you adieu and wish you good night. And
yes.
All of it.
I will talk to you soon.
Don't forget to unmute John at some point.
Oh shit! Yeah. Thank you.
Barney, I haven't answered a question for you yet.
I know, right? It's not going to. Guys, I'm just saying, anything is possible. You can even beat the gods you believe in, and I've shown that today.
I think we broke Barney.
You guys broke Barney. Wait a minute. Seek and find. You see wind? Please show me where you see wind.
Please not again.
You know I hate you, Sean. You know that.
Oh shit! I forgot. I actually forgot I unmuted John, and I just did it too. It's amazing. I don't know why I do that. Hey John.
But you see what I'm saying on the graviton thing? I mean, a graviton would have to be.
You broke up.
Yeah, you said that very last part again. Well, you're saying the graviton would have to encompass the fabric of space as well.
No, it would be. Because you said it would be the cause of gravity.
Well, the fabric of space isn't the cause of gravity.
And why would you call it a graviton?
Because a graviton would be a particle that is found that is the cause for gravity, the source of gravity.
It would have to have a direct correlation to the mass of an object. Because like here on Earth, objects fall at 8 meters per second squared, right? And on another planet, they fall at a different rate. So something is being affected, which causes its rate. The thing that we understand that's being affected is space time.
Okay. What creates?
So you're saying the graviton. So you're saying a graviton is, I guess, the putting stuffing, right? That's the part that's affected.
Okay. Well,
that would be space time.
Okay. Now work with me on this one to see where I'm coming from. Okay. So we're going to start at general relativity. Curvature, space-time, bending of space-time, fabric of space, whatever you want to say. What creates the bending of that fabric?
The mass of an object.
Okay. So the mass of an object, so you can almost say a force creates that bend in the curvature of space-time, or the fabric of space. Damn.
No.
Why not?
Because mass isn't a force.
No, gravity is a force that mass
creates the gravity.
Yeah. No, mass does not create mass. You can't say that. Mass does not create the gravity. Mass is affected by that gravity.
Clumsy.
It's affected by the gravity. But more importantly, and we were talking about this earlier, you may not have heard it, but that's why I was kind of itching for it. General relativity still looks at that mass as the force or
the source
for that the source of the bending of space time. It still needs the force.
Hold on. It's the cause, but the effect, the thing that's being affected.
Yeah, it's a space time. Yeah, and the mass is looked at as a force that creates that curvature in space time.
It's not looked at as
what
I
basically
said. It's looked at as the cause.
General relativity has to look at it as a force which creates that bending in space time.
Can we rephrase it, saying that the mass forces the space time?
Yeah.
To curve.
But it still has to look at it that way. It has to look at it as a
The wording
force.
is mass causes the bending.
We agree on the bending part. The problem is you said the term graviton. Then what is the graviton composed of? And the only thing that's affected in this scenario is space. So that would have to be the gravity.
Well, the same way Newtonian looks at it as mass attracts mass, and general relativity, again, and this is not for you, Gary, because I know you don't look at it this way, but general relativity doesn't replace, it only further explains. So in that sense, to me...
You can't have both, bro.
Why?
You can't have both.
Absolutely you can. And that's my argument for why you can't have a graviton. It's literally the steps of explanation of it. From source...
Here's my issue. Here's my issue. I think the implication that you can probably agree is that there is some grand conspiracy to hide the true shape of the Earth, right, Montreal? So if that's the case, why would you have such a blatant, obvious contradiction in the science?
How did you go from gravitons to flat Earth?
Because
did I miss something there?
Yeah, because you're saying that there's an issue with the science, right? And you're saying there's a contradiction between Newtonian gravity and Einsteinian gravity. Aha, look at that, there's a problem. So it's all fake, it's all phony, right? It's all not real, it's all baloney, right? If that's true, then why would they deliberately create a contradiction?
I don't know where you're coming from, dude, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah,
we're talking.
I'm drawing a conclusion. I'm drawing what I'm saying is. No, what I'm saying is.
I think you got triggered there or something.
No, I'm not being triggered. No, I'm not. I'm not being triggered. I'm just saying you're laughing. When you come in, you typically laugh at things, and all I'm saying is that you're seeing this as, it's all a ruse. Okay, it's all just hogwash, right? That's what you're saying.
No,
it's all
certain
hogwash.
parts of it are. I never said that. Why are you putting words in my mouth?
Oh, good grief.
He didn't say you said it. You're not listening, Montreal.
Yeah.
Another triggered person.
No one is triggered.
Here's the thing.
Stop saying people are triggered when they ask you questions.
Here's the thing, because this has actually been a thing tonight. It's weird.
Yeah.
So I get that everyone here has a thing to say or a point to make, but this has happened numerous times tonight. I know you have a question or you have a statement to make, but if we're in the middle of a conversation, you guys can't divert for your own questioning. It really makes for just crappy listening. Like literally, this is what's happened. Topic, interject. Topic, interject. And it's done this all night, and the interjects actually take way longer than just the small bits of the topic we've been talking about, and it really makes it difficult to stay on point, because literally what just happened was we're breaking down gravity, and you made it into a broad spectrum of your conclusion of everything, and that's not what we're doing right now. I mean, you can do it later, but don't this is to everyone. Don't sideswipe a topic to make your conclusional point. We all know Montreal. First of all, guys, fucking A, Montreal is not a flat earther. Fuck. Jesus Christ. That's why when I like Montreal, because I can ask him a question and I don't know the answer. He's not a flat earther. He's not always going to give you the same answer a flat earther does. So, guys, everyone, this is a broad spectrum. Montreal is not a flat earther. So a stereotypical response to him is going to get you nowhere. I mean,
I wasn't. I was directly. What shape is it?
I was directly responding to the earlier laughing and the earlier mockery, which is like, but this is all just rubbish.
Yeah, but
that's all I was responding to. That's
okay.
It. If that's the case, then what is the alternative explanation? Is what I'm asking. Yeah.
Put it this way, X. It's not your fault I just said that. It's a combination of everything, so don't take it personally.
No.
Okay, but
I mean, I'm not.
I'm gonna grab the reins and I'm gonna put it right back on track. Right.
Yeah.
So
grab your chat.
So what was basically being discussed was graviton, or my idea of the graviton. Why? I get what they're saying. Montreal, you started to say that. I think you were saying that Newtonian and general relativity don't work. But then, and I was like, it's explanation. So I'm trying to backtrack right now, and I'm doing it out loud. I don't fucking remember what I was saying. I don't remember where it was at.
X got triggered when I laughed.
No, I didn't get triggered.
Why do you keep saying triggered?
He tried to trigger people.
My apologies, not
Thank
triggered.
you.
Extremely enthusiastic.
When I said, I simply asked a question. It wasn't anything. And we're past that. Let's get back to the difference between Newtonian and Einsteinian.
Yeah, let's get back to the graviton. I don't know why people are trying to.
Where they
why
come up
people
with
are trying
graviton?
to argue? No, listen. Shut up and listen to me. My turn. I'm going on a jonologue.
Okay.
Okay, the graviton. It is a hypothesized piece of matter that causes gravity. Right. Now, no one can say definitively whether it does or does not exist. You know why? Because we haven't seen the bloody thing. We observe what gravity does. We observe bending of space-time. We observe things being bent around suns and galaxies. We know there is this matter that we don't know what it is that makes up the majority of the universe. And there is possibly something that is permeating gravitational waves.
Everything is cool what you said, except we don't observe the bending of space-time.
What part of gravitational lensing is not the bending of space?
It could just be lensing. You don't need
Gravitational
gravity.
lensing is the bending of space-time. Full stop.
Something shining around an object.
Yeah, that's the bending of space-time in space.
Or it could be just light shining behind an object in space.
And what's bending it?
Nothing. It's just bending. You know, when you shine a flashlight and you have a ball there, you're gonna see the light bending. You're gonna see it on the other side.
But you see glare. You don't see it. You don't see the source of the light, though. But in the gravitational lensing, we see the source. That's like the confusing part. It's like we should just see the glare or the excess, the stuff that does pass by. But what we're seeing is actually the flashlight instead of the glare of the flashlight. If that makes sense.
What you're seeing is an effect. I don't deny that. And you're just calling it gravity. That's all it is.
Well, we gotta call it something. I mean, that's literally the thing. We don't have to call it gravity, but it's a pretty universal name. It's just a collaboration of all the things that we've tested and experienced to help understand this thing. Just the act that we all acknowledge the fact that if you pick something up and you let go, it will drop. I mean, you don't have to call it gravity, but that's step one, and all we're doing is giving it a term.
But it accelerates, for God's sake.
I'm gonna head off to bed. Could I just say something about gravitational lensing before I go?
You made jonologue.
There's a thing in the night sky called the Einstein cross, which is it's basically a four points of light in a cross shape, and this was predicted by general relativity, and it's because of gravitational lensing, and if you examine all of those 4 points of light, they have exactly the same signature of light, which is completely unheard of. It's impossible that 4 different stars would have exactly the same signature. So through gravitational lensing, one object has been split into 4. And this was predicted by general relativity, and there's no other explanation for it. And the object in the middle of this cross of 4 stars has also been identified, and it is of sufficient mass in order to bend space-time according to general relativity to produce this effect. And it's not the only one. There's loads of them.
Isn't that where there is something that you can't actually see, but it's bending one point of light in 4 different directions?
The lensing galaxy is visible, but it's quite dim. But it can also be identified.
Yeah, but it's that there's something behind that is being lensed.
Yeah,
like north, south, east, and west of this object.
Yes.
Well, wasn't the theory that it was a huge black hole or something like that?
Not in the case of the Einstein cross. It's a galaxy that happens to be between us and this quasar that has caused the light to bend like that.
I'm about to get a picture right now.
Were you looking for a picture of the Einstein cross?
Yeah.
People have done observations of these things for years.
Yeah. I mean, it's on my hit list. But well, I mean, for astronomers and geeks like me, it's unfortunate that this thing was discovered after Einstein died. But
don't you have to wait another month or 2 before you're able to view them? Before you're in the right position?
It's in sort of like Pisces. Well, I think from my latitude it's circumpolar. I don't think it sets.
I think there was similar observation in the time of Einstein during solar eclipse.
Yeah, but Einstein didn't do it.
No, that's how they found out about gravitational lensing. Was they saw a star behind our star come out beside it.
Well, that was Arthur Eddington, who sought to prove general relativity by showing that stars were in a slightly different position if they were close to the sun from our line of sight. And you can only view that during a solar eclipse. But yeah, the Einstein cross is quite a remarkable object in the sky.
I'm putting. The pictures I just put in are from all astronomer pictures, or amateur astronomy pictures. I'm sorry.
It's like a conversation that was had earlier about debunking NASA's photos. Right, if you're going to debunk all NASA's photos, you have to debunk every amateur astronomer in the world.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm glad you guys brought that up. Some of you guys are photographers here, correct?
Triggered.
Yeah.
Triggered. That was triggered. Yes, I am.
Perfect. Let me ask you: are you aware of the NASA film that they supposedly had on the moon?
Which one?
NASA film on the
moon.
moon.
Apollo one.
The Apollo missions footage. To what are you referring?
Photographer and photo forensic.
Yeah, just where are you going with this? Just curious.
What footage? What photo or video are you referring to, Montreal?
John, you were going to bed.
Well, he's gone.
Oh, he must have been okay. If he stopped talking, then they left. Then he probably was in a bad area.
No, he's back.
Oh.
Are you there, Montreal?
Reconnected. Try quitting the app and starting again if you can't hear. We can't hear you if you're talking.
Sean?
Yep.
I'd like to give a support theory to the gravity.
Okay, sounds good.
Because there was a question asked why the is different planet. So I would say just, and I'm talking out of my ass here, the graviton is a, say, a particle or something that is supposed to be distributed equally in the space, but when some mass exists, he like to like accumulate to that, creating cavity of graviton. So there will be different concentrations of the graviton, and different concentration cause what we call now up in.
You're cutting out.
Is Discord just screw with everybody right now?
Pretty
Yep, I
fucking
just
much.
got booted out.
No,
There
I
you
think
go.
it's just me, maybe my connection.
No, Montreal just said he got booted.
It probably is being, it probably is being taxed quite heavily because so many people are home and
It's getting
don't
corroded.
have time on their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People's cell phones
Yeah,
are
yeah.
going slow.
Go ahead, Montreal. You had something about Apollo or something?
Yeah, you're cutting out too.
No, that was just me fumbling my words.
If you guys don't mind, we veer a little bit off topic here since you brought up photography.
Yeah, we can. No worries.
So, is anybody familiar with the kind of film that they used when they filmed on the moon, on the Apollo mission? Using the Hasselblad cameras?
Right. Yeah.
What about it?
Do you know what kind of, if there was anything special done to the film?
Okay,
Didn't you ask about this in like 5 live streams ago?
50 years of this. When are you going to get?
And then when people gave you a response, you rejected it.
I'm sorry.
Because I found out some new information. That's why I'm going down this road.
Yeah.
If it's tiresome to your athletics, you don't have to respond.
No, it's just that in general. It's just
like a little bitch, like you do on the chat.
You found another video, and now you think you've got some mic drop level of evidence. Okay. 50 years after the fact.
If you don't want to go down this line, I simply ask the question. If you don't want to go down this line,
no, it's just
no
obvious.
problem.
It's obvious you found something. You found a video. You watched the video, and now you think you've got some evidence.
Here's the thing.
All right, come on. What is it?
Okay,
Tell us
now,
what is it?
no. Okay, here's the thing. X, do you think he's going to show something of value?
No.
Do you think he will show something of value of NASA being hoax or fake tomorrow?
Not ever.
Okay. What about in the past?
Not that I've seen.
Okay, so you don't really need to interject in his conversation because there's nothing he's going to say that's going to make you think differently. So here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying.
Wait,
no, I'm not going to stop. No,
He
I'm
said
not going to wait.
photographers, and I identified myself as a photographer.
So then he asked a question, and again, you went to your conclusion. Oh, great.
Yes.
Whatever you're going to show. Okay, well, if you're sick of hearing, here's the thing. If you're sick of hearing their explanations or their reasons for behind shit, I don't see why you're here. Because you're going to hear the same shit you've heard for, you said 4 years now? You're going to be hearing the same shit. And if every time you're going to do that, there's really no point in being here.
Have I done that every time?
Yes.
No, I have not.
We just got done talking about you doing that. What are you talking about?
I'm going to mute myself.
Jesus Christ. Montreal, what was your question? Because my frustration made me forget it.
It's cool, bro. I'm gonna bring it up another time. I don't want to talk to these two dudes.
I can
bring it up another time, and you're gonna see I have something that I'm sure they haven't heard before.
Well, I am more than willing to hear it at any other time. I completely understand. Actually, what I'm going to do is no, don't talk. I'm going to go ahead and shut down because I am triggered and I am not going.
Oh, Sean, you broke up.
No, I was busy making sure you shut the fuck up. I'm already triggered because, again, if you're going to be here, or for the relevance of it all, if you're going to be in this community and you're sick of hearing flat earthers' explanations for things, this is not the fucking place for you. Why? Because here, your humor level in it is no concern to me. You can easily say flat earthers are full of shit. You can easily come to your own conclusions while you watch or listen outside of my panel. Because if laughing is how you think a good conversation goes through, then this is not the place for you. For someone, X, I'm talking to you, for someone who's been here for 4 years, you shouldn't want to hear shit. You've heard it all. So why are you still here? You should have enough for your documentary now. There's no reason for you to be here if you don't want to hear what anyone has to say. If you've already come to your own conclusions, what is the point? There's no reason for you to be heard. Laughing and telling them you don't want to hear it is a waste of time. Because if you want to go into that, X, just so you understand where things are coming from, I don't feel the need every time you bring up a God to treat you like you're fucking crazy. Because I don't believe in a God. Just so you have a relevance on what you're doing. You have no evidence. You have nothing. Faith. I've heard all the stories. So if you start talking about it, should I start laughing at you? Should I start making fucking fun of what you believe, X? Because I'm telling you, a guy gets nailed to a cross and dies and comes back to life. That sounds pretty far-fetched to me, but you're more than willing to go along with it. Should I laugh at you every fucking time you bring that up? Should I cut you off and tell you, nah, this is fucking ridiculous. This is stupid. I've heard it. I don't want to hear this. Let me make this very clear. This is to everyone. Everyone. If you don't want to fucking hear it, if you think flat earth is that stupid that you want to tell every flat earther you don't want to hear it, this is not the place for you. And that goes for any other ideas or beliefs or whatever the fuck. If there's any topic ever going on in my stream that you don't want to hear, leave. Don't listen to it. Don't fucking get involved in it. And sure as hell, don't make it vocal on here because I don't give a fuck if you don't want to hear it. This isn't your stream. If you don't want to hear it, it's very simple. Turn it off. And yes, X, every fucking time I see you somewhere, you do that. That's why over at Debate Flat Earth and More, they don't want to hear that shit. That's why in other streams it's that way. That's why I started writing on you so much about doing that shit, because it just makes you look fucking stupid. You, of all people, I've had this conversation with, should know, don't come on my shit and tell someone you don't want to fucking hear it and how stupid they are. This isn't the fucking place for it. I'm going to let you know this another little tip. I like Montreal. I got a lot of fucking respect for Montreal, which means one thing. You disrespect him, you're disrespecting me, and I'm gonna defend him every fucking time. And that's all I have to say about that now. So, take it what you want. Leave, stay, interject, doesn't matter. But if you're going to act like that, I'm going to say something. It's my house. My shit. I'm going to go ahead and end my stream because I'm obviously triggered. And I'm obviously not going to get level-headed and talk about any other topics. I'm going to make this very clear. If you don't like what's being said or heard on my stream, leave. If you don't like the content or my ideas on how I run my shit, get the fuck out of here. Unsub. Don't respond to any uploads or just go the fuck away. And guess what? There are times when the joking and the laughter happens, and you're an idiot here, and seeking finds a dumbass. Yeah, that's fine. But when you make a point of it to be that guy, then you just become a nuisance to fucking everyone. Doesn't matter what side it is. Just notice that. The people that do that, both sides, globe, flat earth, both have problems with these people because they feel the need to interject and be the one, even though they're not bringing anything to the table. See, I'm back onto it again. That's how triggered I am. So I'm going to say this. X, if you're done hearing shit, be out. Don't come back. Can't wait to see the documentary. It's going to flop.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hater plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a